What are 5 altcoins in 2025 with the easiest potential gains? I'm talking about altcoins that are following Bitcoin's path. And what do I mean by that? I mean these 5 projects might be the next 5 ETFs available on Wall Street. Now, an ETF just stands for Exchange Traded Funds. And an ETF is just a way for an investor to invest in an asset, and it makes it a lot easier and gives you tons of tax advantages as well. Gold ETFs are probably a good example. It's a lot easier to buy a gold ETF versus lugging around a bunch of physical gold and trying to bury it in your backyard. But before I list the 5 altcoins that I think are going to be the next to get an ETF, let's look at what happened to Bitcoin when it got its ETF approved. Now, this dip right here, we did predict, because typically you will see a run up into an ETF approval and then you'll see a little bit of a dump. But after that, Bitcoin has gone on a tear. And since the launch of the ETF approved January 10th, Bitcoin is now up over 120%. But now to the 5 coins. And for that, we're using Eric Balchunas. He is a senior ETF analyst at Bloomberg. Now, before we give his prediction, he was the first one to predict the Bitcoin ETF. Him and his colleague, James Seifert, were vindicated after being vilified. And he is saying, we expect a wave of cryptocurrency ETFs next year, albeit not all at once. First, likely to be the Bitcoin ETH combo ETFs. Then after that, we're probably going to have Litecoin because it is a fork of Bitcoin, aka that makes it a commodity, not a security. And before we get into the next 4, let's do a quick Litecoin price prediction here. Litecoin did manage to put in a new all-time high after it put in a all-time high in the tail end of 2017. And right here, you can see very, very close to $400. So I expect Litecoin to kind of play around these levels, and I think it can shoot up to $400, maybe even around $420. Then his next prediction was HBAR, that stands for Hedera. What kind of price prediction are we looking at for Hedera? Now, before we do that, there is a big distinction I want to point out. When you go to price, this is what Hedera looks like, and we are not quite at previous all-time highs. Hedera hit 50 cents. Right now, we are a little bit under 30 cents. When you go to market cap, Hedera is at a fresh all-time high. It has exceeded its market cap from 2021, and so when Hedera was trading around 50 cents, it's actually about half the value of where we're at right now, a little over 10 billion, about $11.5 billion valuation. Where do I see Hedera going from here? I think Hedera, without an ETF, maybe a lot of selling pressure around 25 billion, but with an ETF, I think we got a pretty good shot at $40 billion, and that's going to give you an HBAR prediction right around $1. But I will say the HBAR community, the H-Barbarians, they're nuts, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to maybe even push it to $2 or more. All right, after HBAR, he has XRP, and XRP obviously been crushing it lately. I mean, just look at that green candle coming out of nowhere. We have done XRP price predictions in the past, and when you look at this price structure right here, this is what they call a bull flag pennant, and then this is going to give us a nice prediction for XRP of right around $5. So that's where I expect XRP to go this cycle. All right, the next one he was listing was Solana. And we've also done Solana price predictions in the past. When you look at market cap, Solana is at fresh all-time highs. You can see, exceeding its previous market cap of 77 billion. And right now it is above $100 billion. But when we look at token price here, I do think Solana has a lot of room to grow. I think Solana, without an ETF, can put in, around a $400 price tag. But with an ETF, I think you got to reassess that price prediction. And I think there is a world where Solana can hit $1,000, and that is with an ETF and Wall Street just falling in love with it, and that would mean they're even selling their Bitcoin ETF exposure to maybe buy some more riskier with higher upside altcoins. Now, what is the 5th prediction? Because Eric doesn't give us one. And so I went into a different ETF style product here. This is Bitwise's 10 crypto index fund, and they rolled it into an ETP. So that's not an exchange traded fund, that is an exchange traded product. It has just less rules and regulation, so it's a little bit easier to create an ETP versus an ETF. More money will flow into ETFs. But I think this is a good step to determine what the 5th altcoin that is going to be. And you can see they have weights for these different assets. Top is Bitcoin, followed by Ethereum, Solana, then XRP. The number 5 candidate is Cardano, more than Avalanche, more than Chainlink, more than Polkadot. So when we roll over to Cardano, I've, thought long and hard about a Cardano price prediction. I do think, we were only going to go to around $5, $6, but I think with Charles Hoskinson cozying up to Donald Trump and if we can potentially get a Cardano ETF, I think our Cardano price prediction might need to be $10, everybody. So these are some moon math targets, but that is given if they do have ETFs. And if they do have those ETFs, you saw what happened to Bitcoin. I think these altcoins will skyrocket as well. I'm DZ, and I'll see you in your Wall Street bags at the top.